وهنا على وهن وفصاله في عامين أن اشكر لي ولوالديك إلي المصير.
And we have enjoined upon man care for his parents. His mother carried him, increasing her in weakness upon weakness, and his weaning is in 2 years. Be grateful to me and to your parents. To me is the final destination.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Welcome to Radio Islam International. You are listening to the Love Your Kids program on Radio Islam. We play it every Wednesday. We're into the third episode today. We have Maulana Zair Ahmed Raghi online. Maulana, assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. We take this opportunity also, Maulana, to greet all our listeners on Radio Islam, Radio Al-Ansar, and those that have joined us on the Ummahat platform. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Maulana, in our last few discussions, we were explaining about how parents should treat kids, and before that, we also discussed about the mothers of the pious, the mothers of the Anbiya alayhi salatu wasalam, the mothers of the Sahaba ridwanullahi ta'ala alayhim ajma'in, and also the mothers of those the Imam, some of the Imam. We explained how they used to look after how the upbringing of the kids. Some of the Imam were in fact only brought up by their mothers, had no fathers in their lives, and Allah had given them the opportunity that with the upbringing of their mothers, many became Imam. The example was of Imam Malik rahmatullah alayhi, also Imam Bukhari rahmatullah alayhi, and many others. And our talk for this season 3 is Love Your Kids. We're explaining how a person, as a parent, what we need to do to get the best from our kids. We also mentioned that many people have it that they bring up the kids in a way where if they didn't accomplish something when they were younger, then they bring up the kids in a way that they could accomplish their dreams through the kids. And we were explaining some other important topics. The first thing is we want to do is there a link between our interactions with our parents and the way we interact with our children? Because parents who abuse their own children often say they themselves were mistreated as children. So can a person's positive childhood experience with his own or her parents forecast the eventual development of a warm, sensitive, and celebrating style of parenting? Is there an intergenerational transmission of our parenting style?
Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Yes, Maulana. So what we spoke about different approaches of parenting, and an important question is there a link between our interactions with our parents and the way we interact with our children? Now, we do know that there are occasions where parents who used to abuse their own children, often today, if they've become parents, they say were themselves mistreated as children, and we would like to change that with our children. And this brings about a very interesting discussion. Perhaps we may find some grandparents may be able to identify with me. And sometimes some grandparents think that their children are being raised differently than the way they raised their own children. And, I had some people even questioning this aspect and wanting to discuss this from our last discussion. And some may say their children's offspring are more lenient with their own grandchildren, meaning that today's parents are more lenient with their children than what their parents were with themselves. And others may say that their children give their grandchildren fewer household responsibilities than children were given. So some children may say that, to their own children that, we hardly give you any household chores. We used to do this, we used to do that. And a parent's own child rearing history makes a very cumulative contribution. It makes a very, profound contribution to his or her eventual parenting style. So, my own child rearing history may contribute to how I eventually would be a parent to my children. And this, we find that this challenge and this debate continues and will always continue. So, in general, parents who experienced more supportive child rearing, parents of today's generation who experienced from their parents a more supportive child rearing, a more supporting parents in any period of their childhood naturally would become more warm and more sensitive parents to their own children. Now, aside from mirroring our parents' style of raising our own children, sometimes what also happens is that we oppose our parents' style of raising children. We oppose the way that we were reared by our children, by our parents. And there may be some differences in child rearing practices from generation to generation. Nearly half of grandparents, now that I'm a grandparent, may perhaps be able to identify with what I'm saying and may think that my parents raised me